Good morning to you. Welcome to Up to the Minute. Todd Duplantis here, and it's good to have you with us on this Tuesday. Hey, it's Tasty Tuesday. Got a special guest there, also an HCC guest. Right now, my co-host is Dr. Tony Rayo Sutherland. Tony, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. It's kind of a dull morning outside weather-wise, but it's a good morning.
Yeah, it's a little warm today, but they say tomorrow all heck's going to break loose, and it should get a lot colder as we get yet another cold front to remind us that once again, fall is upon us in Texas. So it should be nice for another few days, but I'm sure next week it'll be back up in the 80s once again. Hey, we've got your HCC news and information for the next half hour. If you're watching us live now, you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, but you can always catch the rebroadcast of our show at noon and 5 p.m. on HCCTV. And Tony, before we get to our guest, you want to remind folks where they can find us and follow us, most importantly, in social media.
Absolutely. Like us, Houston Community College District. That's what you look for rather than HCC. Look for Houston Community College District on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And I know you're going to like us, so just hit that button.
Big assumption there, Tony. You know you're going to like us. You have to. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get into our guest because you're going to be interviewing this next guest in a little while. Dr. Genevieve Stevens. She is the Associate Chair of HCC's Psychology Department, and she's joined us live this morning. Good morning to you, Genevieve.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Waiting for fall.
Yeah, good. Waiting for fall. Yeah, fall version part 3. I think this is the third time fall's arriving in Houston. Will be tomorrow. But anyway, hey, we're going to talk to you a little bit more here all about the psychology department and your offerings coming up in about 10 minutes. So stick around. We'll be with you shortly. Okay, first up is Sasha Gruman. She is the founder of Sasha's Focaccia, and she's also was a contestant on the Top Chef Portland. She's our Tasty Tuesday guest, and good morning to you, Sasha. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
First off, I'm going to ask everybody's wanting to know, Top Chef Portland, has it run already? Is it something people can see? How does that working?
Yeah, so Top Chef Portland has aired and the finale has aired. So everything's out there on your, streaming devices, up to Hulu, all that good stuff. So you can catch me there.
How did that happen for you? Did you submit an application? Did you apply? How did you get picked for that?
So a lot of Top Chef is about recommendations of previous contestants. And luckily, I happen to have worked for quite a few people that have actually been on Top Chef before I did. So, kind of threw my name in the hat. It's about a 3.5-month process. And, lots of interviews and lots of videos, especially with COVID, doing everything virtually. But, it worked out.
What was the most challenging thing being on that show?
You have very little freedom to, do things that keep your mental health steady. So I would say, there's no access to phones, which is great for the mental health, but, you're a little disconnected. So, you have to find time to do all the silly things that, we go to of like meditation and sleeping, drinking water, like remembering the basics, I think was really difficult because we're all competitive and we wanted to win.
Yeah. What's the biggest misconception somebody may have by watching the series, not knowing something? What was the thing that surprised you the most?
How long everything took. So it was definitely not, some of the challenges like the quick fires are very fast, but you go through a process and there's a process for everything, but you're not allowed to talk or check in on your phone on recipes. So you're really, practice a lot of patience when you go on the show.
So we want to get into Sasha's Focaccia.
Yes.
Tell us about that, what this is all about.
Okay, so I have a little bit of Sasha's Focaccia set up for you guys here, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. But Sasha's Focaccia was born out of baking as like a therapeutic thing after Top Chef. I kind of worked on the recipe before the show. And then after the show, I just started baking. And I couldn't eat all the bread myself, but I really wanted to perfect the recipe. So I started giving it away. And actually people were like, I think you should try to sell this. I was like, people aren't going to like this. Like, there's no way. It's just bread. And turns out people do enjoy it. And so now I'm currently working on a relaunch for November where hopefully I'll be shipping nationwide.
So will they be able to go to a website, purchase it, and then you'll ship it to them? Do you have any plans on getting it into stores?
First step is getting the numbers up with orders. And then the next step is, that's my 10-year plan. I have a 2, 5, and a 10-year plan. And 10 years to be national in grocery stores.
You know, there's been the fad diets, and I'm guilty of it myself, you know, where everybody cuts down on carbs. And I went for about a year with eating very little carbs. I didn't lose any weight. And I was in a horrible mood for most of that year.
Yes.
Because we're humans. We need carbs. You know, I run every day. And, you know, going back to a more balanced diet has been more successful to me.
Sure.
So really, you know, this whole thing about blocking out carbs, that's something we all need. And gosh darn it, they're great, they're fabulous, and they're delicious.
Yeah, agreed. And also, when you eat carbs where you know where the flour is coming from, you know where the olive oil is coming from, there's no preservatives in my focaccia. It's just pure ingredients. And I think that always makes a difference in how the body feels. So be smart about your choices, and then you'll still feel okay and look okay.
You spent some time in Italy lately. Maybe you could tell us about that.
Yeah. So I actually got asked to do a chef in residency program in Tuscany. And I was basically cooking for painters, ceramicists, botanists, you know, florists, all sorts of gardeners. And I was doing that for about 2 months. And I got to teach cooking classes to people from all over the world. And it was just a beautiful, magical time.
Was this before COVID hit?
No. So this was actually last month. So
how did that go with the post? How is post-COVID Europe, specifically Italy?
Well, we were quite in a bubble. So, you know, we got tested before we got there, and a lot of people are getting vaccinated now over in Europe. But it felt similar to the States. You know, people are still wearing masks inside. It felt safe. I remember speaking about that and being like, I still feel safe over here.
Now, are you working as a private chef, or how are you doing things now?
Sure. So I am doing private chefing right now, and I'm doing events all over the country with my Top Chef friends. And so basically I do cooking classes, I do private dinners. And it's been a lot of fun because I have, you know, full autonomy over my job and what I like to do and my menu and all of that good stuff.
And you know, you hear about Houston having these pop-up events. Is that something you participate in as well? Because it seems like the big thing nowadays.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Farmers markets, pop-up events, the renaissance of the artisanal artists, anywhere from pottery to, you know, baking. People are really stepping into their dreams. And I think COVID has a lot to do with that. You know, we all stepped back and we got to reflect and we got to think about what makes us happy. And people are doing that, and you can see that in their creations and you can taste that in their food.
Tell us about what you've got. You've got the focaccia there. What are you going to make for us?
So I'm going to do a little focaccia toast. So the focaccia is pretty nice and thick. It's pretty soft on the inside, has a really nice crunchy outside. And so on the soft outside, I am going to put a little bit of a roasted romesco. So this is a very like fall dish. I'm very into the orange colors right now and like deep and smoky. So just a little bit of romesco will go down on the bread. And this is something you can make ahead of time. And then I have this beautiful local ricotta that is made in Texas. And I whipped it with a little bit of cream, salt, pepper, lemon zest. And that kind of just goes down on the toast. And then this is my favorite part, and super, super fall. I'm also going to do a demo of this on my Instagram, but it's toasted hazelnuts, brown butter, and Urfa chili.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty awesome.
Thank you. It's like something that goes on cheese. It's something that goes on, vegetables or really anything. And the Urfa chili isn't spicy. It's just like a little smoky. And I love it for specifically this toast. And so they're just chopped up hazelnuts. You can kind of see that brown butter drizzling off to the side.
Wow.
And I love
that. Could be a whole meal right there. Is this something that you'd serve as maybe an appetizer, finger foods for people, first course maybe?
Exactly. This is definitely a solid past app that I've used before. And then always a little bit of salt. And I use Aleppo chili as a finish. So I worked at a Moroccan restaurant in San Francisco, and we use these chilies all the time. And they add so much flavor and such a wonderful impact to every dish.
Now, you mentioned Instagram. People can follow you in social media for recipes and things like that.
Yes, definitely. Okay. So I have 2 Instagrams. I have a personal, and then I have my business, which is Sasha's Focaccia. And when we relaunch in November, we're definitely going to spice it up with the content. And you guys are going to see what I'm up to and all the fun things we're doing. I mean, I'm working on packaging right now, and it's so fun that it's actually happening. And when your vision comes to life, it's so special. So I feel very, very grateful right now.
We've been talking with Sasha Gruman. If you're interested in Sasha's Focaccia, it looks awesome. We're going to put some information in our social media posts with your handles. And is there a website available now as well?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. We'll put the website in our social media post as well. Sasha, thanks for being here. Great luck in your business. We look forward to seeing it all over soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to Dr. Tony. And Tony, you've got a special guest from our psychology department. Why don't you go ahead and take things over?
Yes, I do. Dr. Genevieve Stevens. She is the Associate Chair of HCC Psychology Department. Welcome to the show, Dr. Stevens.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to it. Thank you.
Well, we've been telling the audience about all these programs that you guys are doing in student organizations and all kinds of fun things. So we thought, well, let's check it out a little deeper and see what else you guys are doing. But before we go into that.
Thank you.
So tell us, though, before we go into all that fun stuff, not that this isn't fun stuff, but tell us a little bit about the psychology department, the degree that you can get at HCC.
Well, Tony, thank you. We are so excited about the fact that we do have an associate's in science degree. And I do want to say associate's in science. And here is why. When we look at our university partnerships, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes, it is good to have that degree styled this way because of the fact that we do emphasize research aspects and how to critically analyze research. So many of our classes look at critical thinking skills and where to find research. And we felt like that might be a little bit more of an edge for our students to be able to transfer to our four-year institutions and partners, and certainly to prepare them for even the rigors of graduate school. So we chose that. And so I'm very proud to say that as of October 25th, yesterday, we have 1,229 psychology majors. And we do things to try to help them understand what they're going to be doing. We've got a degree plan posted. We are ready to help them.
That's wonderful. And, the research is very important, especially in a field such as psychology. So, yeah, it's good to get them practicing early so that it's easier when they move on.
Yes.
So, tell us, a little bit about, in addition to the wonderful academic things that they're doing, there's a whole lot of other things that they're a part of. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that we are very dedicated to is student engagement. We feel that engagement produces retention, which of course we know can very much produce completion. And we know that students like to get involved. We host a number of events throughout the year. In fact, it's very timely that this week we're going to have our fall HCC virtual psychology transfer and career fair, and we're going to have it on Wednesday and Thursday. We have great relationships with 7 major universities that we host every semester. They come and they're with us. They meet with our students. They tell our students what they need to be doing to prepare and how to best, what to expect when they transfer and their courses that they will need, et cetera, when they get to that 4-year institution. Several of those 4-year institutions do have master's and or master's and PhD programs, which for students that want to go all the way, that is fantastic. We wanted to reach their highest heights. We also know that psychology is a great course for those who wish to go to medical school and nursing. The MCAT, which is, of course, the admissions for medical school test, which I hope I never have to take and have not so far, and I don't think I ever will. But the idea is that they do have the social science component. So this is very important. And I really believe that we'll have a really successful event. Another event that we had just 2 weeks ago, and we'll have one in November, is called I Am Psyched, Majoring in Psychology. And we are going to host this all year at the different campus hubs. So we will do that. But what has really helped us a lot, Tony, is our Psi Beta and our Psi Kappa. These are our student organizations. Psi Beta is a national community college honor society, and people really have to have some good grades to get in that. And we will just nurture them. In fact, we're going to have our induction on November 11th. And then Psi Kappa, which we have at several campuses, they are really focusing on service issues and what they can do to help their fellow students, what they can do to help in the community, and some of the things that the Psi Kappa students engage in and their faculty sponsors. It's truly inspirational. So I like that a lot. So, we're doing things like that. But what we're really good at, let me just add this very quickly, is we partner with advisors, whether they're academic and career, student services within our own system. For example, on Wednesday, in our transfer and career fair, we're going to have academic and career advisors from HCC. I'm a big believer in helping students know how to put together a resume, know how to interview, and we have all this, and sometimes we need to let them know, don't let these departments be the lonely Maytag repair people. Get over there and use them. So these are some of the things that we will do. And again, we also host in March, Navigating the Educational Experience, to really help first-generation college students. So we do a lot. We'll even host a psychology graduation celebration and event. So we just go on and on. We just keep coming up with ideas, and we love them all.
It's wonderful. And you also have a hunger drive. You've been
Yes.
telling people about that.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, Psi Kappa, again, the service organization branch of our student organizations, we have several faculty sponsors and across the district. And they got involved in the idea of trying to collect food. Psi Beta, the Honor Society aspect of our student organizations, they also got very concerned about doing and collecting food because we know we have such a hunger crisis in Houston pre and post pandemic. So they're very concerned about that. Another service Psi Kappa project is also helping students out at Brookwood, where they will go out on around February. Of course, this was, it's been a little hampered by COVID, but we want to go out there and work with people to help them have a good time at a Valentine's Day dance. And so there's things like that go on all the time. So we're going to collect that food, and we're going to help people feel like they are always a part, because that helps our students really know what it's all about. So And they get engaged and they get excited and they get to know us, which helps too.
Well, psychology is not just academic. It is service. It's knowing yourself and knowing and working with other people, learning how to do that. There's a lot of employment opportunities available for graduates, right? Tell us a little bit about some of that.
Well, you know, when back in the Hinter years, when I was looking at majors, I remember my parents saying, "Why would you major in psychology? What will you do with that?" Well, it is true that we have to mentor our students. With an associate's in science, there are some jobs that you can get, but they're going to be like psych tech jobs that can get your foot in the door in the health arena, in community agencies, in assisted living, skilled care, and we want to prepare them, because when they get a bachelor's, and we let them know, you got to get that bachelor's to keep moving, then to really shine in psychology, you really do need to get your master's. But let's take it one step at a time. We let them know that. With a master's, you can, depending on the program you attend, you can become a licensed professional counselor. And you can obtain your license after, from the state of Texas, after you put in some supervisory hours. And you can provide counseling. You can work in policy. You can work in group counseling, which is very important. And you can work with an array of people, Tony, because a lot of times I think the lines of counseling psychology and clinical psychology nowadays are more blurred, so that we are training people at graduate school levels and at undergraduate levels to understand that you will be working with what we call the sort of normal developmental problems that people go through in life and challenges, and then also perhaps the more severe psychological or cognitive disorders that you can also work with. So to really advance, you want to go ahead and get your bachelor's and then get some sort of job where you're helping people and learning, and then get that master's. And so we let people know that is what you need to do. That's your pathway. But the good thing is we've got those partners and those relationships that are helping them seek those goals and know what they need to do.
Just real quick, COVID, do you think that that's had anything to do with maybe more people getting interested in psychology?
The research has been out there about all of the various issues that have been experienced financially for people, economically, losing employment, having to take care of children, school children. And so school children at home, let's put it that way. And just the various issues, depression, loneliness, disengagement. So I'm going to say yes. And I believe that folks getting interested again, we have a lot of research that we're asking our students to do to look at pre-pandemic and we'll say pandemic to post-pandemic mental health. So these are all very important. Yes.
Well, we really appreciate you being on the show. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to all the new things that you guys are doing. And it's wonderful. This is Dr. Genevieve Stevens, Associate Chair of HCC Psychology Department. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Tony. We've got some HCC news and announcements you need to know coming up. Tomorrow, celebrate Halloween with the Student Life Drive-In movie. That's happening at the Northline campus. They're showing the Addams Family. That should be interesting. Pull up to the Student Life's Drive-In movie with your family and friends for a fun, free night under the stars. You do have to sign up in advance to reserve your parking spot so that you can watch the movie. It's a drive-in movie, so make sure you check that out. We'll have some information on how to register in our social media post. And there's also something that HCC's counseling department is about to launch, Tony.
Helping versus enabling. Sometimes it's hard to know the difference. There's this fine line between helping somebody and enabling them. So we learn a little bit more about that. The HCC Counseling's Department is going to talk about that, help us through that. And that's tomorrow, October 27th at noon. So the guest speaker is going to be Sarah Franklin, who is the program director of Stepping Stone Center for Recovery. So that should be very enlightening.
Also, Bedichek Orman, you know them. They're having their auction coming up virtually Saturday, November the 6th. They need donated items and they want you to also register to attend. Auction proceeds support professional development opportunities for our HCC faculty. It's a great cause. They've been around for decades. And once again, they're asking for your assistance. As for year number 2, they're putting on a virtual auction this year. So make sure you join them. Register ahead of time. We'll have more information on how to register in the social media post for the show. And there's a workshop coming up regarding grant compliance.
Absolutely. The Office of Resource Development Innovation Grants will host a grant development, management, and compliance workshop to review the grant process at HCC. And that's very important because we use grants so that taxpayers don't have to pay as much, so we don't have to get as much from federal government, et cetera, et cetera. So getting grants is very important. 10 to 11 a.m. Friday, November 19th via Teams. So go to hcc.grantsoffice@hccs.edu to learn more about that.
And if you'd like to learn more about our textbook savings programs, boy, this is something that's saving our students. It's really game changing when you're going to college. These are ways that we find students to have either altogether free textbooks or low cost. There are 3 types: zero cost books, low cost books, and first day inclusive access. All of them save our students tens of thousands of dollars. I think since they started this, it's been millions that have been saved. Anyway, to learn more about this textbook savings program, we'll have information in our social media post. And spring registration is upon us, Tony.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of ways you need to register now because we have small classes because of COVID. And also small classes are easier for the student. It's fun because you work with the instructor easily. But anyways, we have online anytime, online on a schedule. We have hybrid, which is both online and in person, and then hybrid labs. So there are 5 different ways to get your education. So go to hccs.edu/now and register now.
Okay, that wraps up today's show. We've got some special guests tomorrow. It's Business Plan Wednesday. We're joined by Megan Eddings of Excel. She's reinvented athletic wear for both men and women. We're going to learn more about that tomorrow. And she also went through our business plan competition. We'll hear all about that. And Catherine Fields, chair of HCC's Visual Arts Department, will be here. Okay, Tony, you're back again tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. If you don't catch us live, you can always catch our rebroadcast at noon and 5 p.m. on HCCTV. Meanwhile, we'll see you again tomorrow live at 10 a.m.